So we are calling it the Valentine special, but it need not be that you keep these couple experiences only for Valentine's Day. A destination that everyone talks about when it comes to romantic destinations, and that is Greece.
The sunset in Santorini is truly magical because of the shape of the island. And the best place to experience this is the town of Ia. And when you're in Ia, you'll notice the shape of the caldera. And then you see the sunset. It's really stunning.
One of the most popular romantic experiences, they say, in the country of Italy, which is Venice and the gondola ride there.
But with Italy, I would say two more places that I would like to mention today. One is Tuscany.
Yeah.
I just love Tuscany because with its rolling hills and the landscape. And the other place is Via dell'Amor, which is in Cinque Terre. So this is known as the path of love. Most of these places like Iceland is known as the land of fire and ice. And I would say you can experience both the cold and the heat here. So you could be ice floating in the Arctic. So you basically wear the warm suits and you go floating in the lake. And you can do that under the northern lights.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Travel, Explore, Celebrate Life. Now, we think that Valentine's Day may be on the 14th of February, but you should have experiences with your partner or loved one anytime in the year. So we are calling it the Valentine special, but it need not be that you keep these couple experiences only for Valentine's Day. Do them every month of the year, 365 days of the year, because that's what life is about, right? Making memories with that loved one. So, Sunila, we are calling it the Valentine special. For this episode, what I've done is I've gone down and created like a list of 8 or 9 couple experiences that I think are popular but still are on people's bucket lists. And our listeners will also probably know of them. What I decided to do was I just wanted to note them down, whatever comes to my head when I think of a particular country. And then what I would like you to do is I would like you to tell me about another experience in this same place. It could be a country, city, state, or whatever.
We'll try our best. I'm sure it'll be really interesting because it doesn't have, a romantic holiday doesn't have to be only on Valentine's.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good reason to
said,
talk about it. You could do it all through the year. So it should be really exciting.
So let's get to it. It's start. More about the experiences on this episode.
Right.
So the first thing I had on my mind was a destination that everyone talks about when it comes to romantic destinations. And that is Greece. And the island of Santorini. People love going here for a sunset, and often if you go in July or August, it is crowded because the weather's warm or hot by our standards, and it's tourist season. So the experience I had on my mind was just witnessing the sunset in Santorini, and you could be at a terrace at a Greek restaurant or something like that. But what other romantic experiences come to your mind when I talk about Greece?
The sunset in Santorini is truly magical because of the shape of the island. And the best place to experience this is the, town of Ia. And when you're in Ia, you'll notice the shape of the caldera. And then you see the sunset. It's really stunning. So like you mentioned, you could be in a restaurant, but bear in mind that the whole world wants to see this sunset. So not just couples. Everyone who's coming to Ia will come there to watch the sunset and go back. So it can get a little crowded. I would say if you're looking for a romantic break, stay at Ia in one of the pool villas. It could be anywhere, and it's really stunning because when you're in your pool and you're watching the sun go down, it's really quite special. The other thing you can do is take a private yacht and go do a sunset cruise. And then you can even jump off into the water, and when you come back, you have this nicely prepared meal for you. So that's again something that you can really, really enjoy the sunset and also the town of Ia and Greece. And then if you really want to go away from the crowds, there are lots of islands in Greece that you could go to.
Hundreds of islands. Right?
Hundreds and hundreds, thousands. So I would suggest something like Paros and Antiparos. So you can go stay on the island of Paros and then take a smaller boat and go to Antiparos, which is even smaller. So there are lesser crowds, and then do everything from wine tasting, the local meals, the local shops. I mean, if I need to convince you, Tom Hanks has a house out there with his wife Rita Wilson. So you can imagine why it is so special, because nobody bothers them. People are happy, and it's a great place to visit.
And I think what we see on Instagram is probably just the surface, right? Like, if you take a deep dive into these destinations in the country of Greece, you will probably find that Santorini would be mainstream, and then probably
I would say do it because you want to do something that's really popular, but also pick up something that's offbeat, and then combine the both, and you have a great holiday.
Awesome. Great start. Yes. Let's go to the second one. The second one I had on my list is one of the most popular romantic experiences, they say, in the country of Italy, which is Venice and the gondola ride there. The gondola ride is kind of a thing where everyone wants to do it, but I don't think that's probably the only romantic experience in Italy, right?
Neil, we can do an entire episode, I think, on each one of these destinations and all the romantic experiences they offer. Venice is great. The gondola ride is also great. Right from the movies of Amitabh Bachchan, people have been watching, with the famous songs. The gondola ride is something that really feels and looks special. And I think most Indians who go there start singing those songs, or the Italians are already there to sing for you. But with Italy, I would say two more places that I would like to mention today, because, we have to go on with the episode and talk of other places too. But one is Tuscany. Yeah. I just love Tuscany because with its rolling hills and the landscape. And the best part is you can stay in any village in Tuscany and still reach where you want to go. If you drive, it's better, or have a private driver. But that is the best way to get away from the crowd, but be very close to the cities and experience those when you want to. And the other place is Via dell'Amor, which is in Cinque Terre. So this is known as the Path of Love. And there was a legend that there were two lovers, in two different villages. And this was the only road. And then the villagers had closed it. And then they opened it. And the two of them found true love. So so that is a road that people love to go. Needless to say, it is really beautiful and nature is amazing. It's a coastal area, just stunning. One of those coastal places in Italy. I mean, with Italy, there's Lake Como, there is Lake Garda, there is Amalfi Coast, Positano, Ravello, just go on and on.
But I think Cinque Terre is probably one of the most popular puzzles in the world.
Yes.
We have done that puzzle, which was
one of the first puzzles we did.
2,000-piece puzzle took us more than a week or week and a half.
And all those colorful homes, it makes for the best pictures, and it's just stunning to watch.
And speaking of Tuscany, if you want to get a real taste of Tuscany without going to Italy, when you go to Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi, there is a ride that is basically dedicated to Tuscany, and it takes you on a tour through Tuscany. And when you were mentioning Tuscany, it just gave me an idea that, or reminded me of that particular ride. So that is also something that you can do. Okay, great. Now Greece done, Italy done.
Yes.
Okay. Again, go west of India, Turkey, right? And when you think of Turkey, one of the most popular romantic experiences you think of is hot air ballooning in Cappadocia, of course, weather permitting. But what else is there to do in Turkey that you would say classifies as romantic?
So Neil, we had booked this holiday for this honeymoon couple, and I think till date it is one of my favorite experiences for them. You live vicariously through other people when you book their holidays, right? And I think they were so happy and they really enjoyed it a lot. So there's a hotel in Cappadocia. And the hotel, it's a cave hotel. So staying in a cave hotel is something that is a must-do in Cappadocia along with your balloon ride. They stayed there, and the hotel has a wine tap. Wine on tap in your room. So all you have to do is once you check into your room is open the tap and you have a red wine out there coming from the tap.
That's awesome.
So it was quite sweet and quite nice because they really enjoyed the wife to be, or the wife enjoyed wine and he wanted to surprise her. And I thought this was a great way to go and check in, and then whenever you want, there is wine on tap. And in fact, I met the owner of the hotel and he was so amused by his own idea. He loved it. He said, why not let people enjoy this? So I thought that was something pretty special.
I think if my wife Heta is listening to this episode, she would want to know the name of this hotel and she would want to go there. Awesome.
See, the other thing to do is in Istanbul, you can be on the Bosphorus, take a private cruise.
That's a great idea.
Be at sunset probably. And then you can look at Europe and Asia together.
Either side, right? I think one of the best things about Istanbul is the Bosphorus, right? I mean, Of course, you can go do a private tour in the Hagia Sophia and
Yeah.
roam the
So
streets
many
of
other things,
Istanbul.
hammams and
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Awesome. So we've covered 4 destinations so far on this episode. We've done Greece, we've done Italy, we've done New Zealand, we've done Turkey. Let's take a break. And on the other side, I have a very popular destination, became super popular during the pandemic. You already
Okay.
know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But let's take a break and come back on the other side. We are mentioning a lot of fun experiences on this episode. So if you want to book any of these things, write to us at travel@veenaworld.com or call us on 1800 At Veena World, we have group tours, we have women tours, we have seniors citizens tours, we have honeymoon tours, we have customized holidays, and we also have corporate travel. So whatever may be your travel needs, we are there for you. Thank you for listening to Travel Explore Celebrate Life, and let's get back to the episode. Okay, we are back. Now you know what I'm talking about. Super popular not only during the pandemic but otherwise also. Always,
All around the year.
It's very close to India, Maldives, right? Now, any resort you go to like in the Maldives, it's the water villa that is often considered a super romantic thing. But what else is there to do in the Maldives for couples?
Neil, so many things, but before we go there, when you're talking of a water villa, one of the things to remember, which I don't know if everyone does, and this is a tip for everyone who's booking a water villa, is whether it is a sunrise villa or a sunset villa.
Good point.
Very often, resorts will have a sunrise villa and sunset villa. If you're not the type of person who wakes up early to enjoy the sunrise, make sure you book the sunset villa. Because if you're not facing the sun, the west, and you're looking for a sunset, you're not going to get it right.
Yeah.
So ensure that you have the right villa.
What do you prefer?
I would, I'm divided half and half because I love to watch both. But if I'm on a holiday and I don't want to wake up early, I think a sunset villa is something I would like to do.
Yeah, I guess. And in the Maldives, you also get like the breakfast in the pool or something like that.
You have the
right?
breakfast served to you in the pool. We saw all the floating breakfast, as it is called.
Yeah.
We saw photos of that circulating everywhere. But one of my favorite things in the Maldives, and I experienced this, is called the sandbank picnics.
Okay.
So what happens here is there is a sandbank or a little beach, you can say, right in the middle of the water, and most resorts have it. And then they can set up a nice dinner for you on the sandbank. So they take you by boat, they drop you there, and they go back, and then you have the island to yourself, a small little
That's
island.
like for a few hours, it's like your own private island, right?
Your own paradise.
Yeah, I guess that is an experience worth considering. And just a quick question. Are all water villas the same, or like how would you go about figuring out which resort to go in the Maldives? Like,
Sunil, this depends on what you want to do. If you're looking at the amenities in the room, then you should select a villa accordingly. They are similar, not all are same. Not all water villas will have a pool attached to it. There are some that have a pool attached to it. Some even have, like the Sonevas, have a slide attached to it.
Yeah.
So you can slide into the ocean from your room. With most of the water villas, of course, you can get into the ocean from there. But most people, what they do is they also take a beach villa and then they take a water villa. They split their
so you
stay.
can experience both.
You can experience both. But I would say at least keep 2 nights in a water villa, because I remember when I was in one, the sea got so choppy that it was impossible to get into the ocean. Yeah. So if you have 2 days, at least you have a chance to step out at some point and enjoy going into the ocean right from your room. I mean, that's the whole point of a water villa.
Go during the right season, right?
Yeah,
like
go during the right
during the
season.
rains, you're probably not going to enjoy it at all.
And if you know cycling, it does help, because most of these water villas are going to be away from the main, the main complex. And they have usually cycles to go around, or even tricycles if you haven't ridden with those little carriages. So all of that, knowing that
there's
helps
just a lot of walking.
It's a lot of walking.
Yeah, that's true. Awesome. So Maldives, kind of done. Let's come to my favorite country in the world, Japan. Now, I certainly believe that all experiences need not be something that you have to pay for. So when I was listing down what is a romantic experience that one can enjoy in Japan, it's, the most popular Instagram photo from Kyoto, that is the Arashiyama bamboo grove. And there's just green, tall bamboo trees on either side. And if you go here at like 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. when the crowds aren't there. It's just you and your partner who can have a nice stroll in this bamboo grove. It's serene, it's calm, it's quiet. And then once you come out of that, you can enjoy like a tea ceremony in the temple right next to it. So that was something I had in mind. You have been to Japan multiple times. I have been to Japan multiple times. But I thought I'll ask you, like, what are some experiences you can think of?
Anil, you're right. The bamboo, I think that the plant itself has something very soothing about it, right? So it's very calming, and it's a great experience, the one you mentioned. Because Japan is a place where you also enjoy really good food. I would say here I would like to stress a little bit on food, and you and your partner can actually enjoy a sushi making class. So rather than just going and tasting the sushi in Japan, try and see and learn how to make it, and that would be really, really nice. So that is something. You mentioned the tea ceremony. You can even make that on private. Of course, you can dress in the kimono and take a beautiful photo together. So there are just so many things that you can do in Japan as well.
Yeah, I guess one thing that again came to my mind is staying in a ryokan and
on the tatami mats.
And experiencing like a very local stay experience. And whenever
the onsens as well. So you can have a private onsen experience. Be in the onsen in the hot water, and a completely rejuvenating holiday.
Yeah, although I would mention that the onsens in Japan are males separate, females separate. And you're not allowed to wear any clothes, not even your swimming costume.
There are a few which are private. So then you have to really look for that. And you remember we've mentioned this before, but if you have tattoos, then you can't enter.
Yeah, if you have a tattoo, you are not allowed to enter an onsen. Yeah. So if you have a tattoo, maybe Japan's not the place for you. But okay, so Japan done. Now let me come to a country that I have to be honest, we have not covered enough on Travel, Explore, Celebrate Life. But a country where we could just do 50 episodes if we take one state at a time. That's the US. Now in the US, a romantic experience that I had on my mind was just going on a hike through Yellowstone National Park. And the US is known for a lot of these hikes. But I mean, I could list down 5 other experiences, but I thought I'll ask you, like, if you're in the US and you want to do something romantic, what is it?
I think, Neil, we need to do an episode or maybe a list of episodes on the US. And yes, we haven't done many, so we'll definitely get around to it. Again, with the US, it depends on where you want to be. You want to be on the East Coast, you want to be on the West Coast, you want to be in Orlando, Miami. There are just so many things. So, we've only experienced usually the cities in the US. We've often ignored the whole big center and the national parks here. So that's definitely something that we should do. You mentioned already things that we can do there. But I would say driving on the Pacific Coast Highway is something that is really stunning. So Big Sur, Monterey, all these places in California are beautiful. They are just stunning. Or you could go to Mammoth Lakes, you can go Yellowstone, Yosemite, all the other national parks, or Utah with its beautiful arches, and you just look at the canyons, Zion National Park. There's just so much natural beauty in the US that is often ignored. If you're a music lover, then the whole New Orleans area is a great place, and here you can actually hop from bar to bar with your drink, just enjoy a great night out with music and jazz. So it's a lot of fun. But one more thing I think I would love to mention about the US, of course, is Hawaii. Because that's probably the most romantic that people can think of, right? And with Big Island, Maui, there are just so many things to do there. On Maui Island, there is actually a road which is a very scenic road. It's called the Road to Hana. Hana is like a community that lives beyond the road, and this road was made or built so that they would have access. But it's one of the most scenic roads. So there are 600 curves on this road. You can take the whole day to be on this road and experience different things along the way. So there's twin falls. There's lush green vegetation everywhere. There are sea caves to be experienced, black sand beaches. I mean, it's volcanic after all. So all of this can be done. And there are 59 narrow bridges along with the 600 bends in the road that I mentioned. So
it's a ghat
imagine
that is not a ghat.
A ghat that is not a ghat. Yeah.
Interesting. So I guess we covered 8 places. 8 of these countries could be an episode on their own if we had to just talk about the couple or like romantic experiences that you could do there. To end the episode, I wanted to go extreme. Okay.
Okay.
I wanted to go extreme in terms of what you can do, what you could do, and money is no limit, let's assume, right? Like, what are some of those things that come to your mind when I say go extreme, forget the countries that I mentioned and everything?
I think let's talk of a region because it could be many different countries out here. Again, something we haven't spoken too much. We've mentioned it on a few episodes and we haven't mentioned it today. So I think it's a great place to be. And I'm talking of the Arctic region, Neil.
Awesome.
So here you can be in Iceland, you can be in Greenland, you can be in Finland, Norway, Sweden, and then combine it with Denmark and do everything. Each of these countries can be a single holiday on its own, or you can do a combination as well. This can be great in summer, great in winter, because you have two completely different experiences, and you should probably experience both. Most of these places, like Iceland, is known as the land of fire and ice, and I would say you can experience both the cold and the heat here. So you could be ice floating in the Arctic. So you basically wear the warm suits and you go floating in the lake, and you can do that under the northern lights.
Oh, wow.
So that can be something stunning. Or you can do it with the midnight sun when the day is still, just not ending. So with these contrasting experiences, I think this calls for 2 honeymoons in a year or 2 romantic breaks in a year, right?
Sure, why not?
Right. And then if you want to really enjoy the northern lights, then of course the glass igloos. And now there are many different kinds and types of glass igloos. You can also stay in a tree house. You can choose to be in a hut which is away from everything. So experience what is known as the Arctic wilderness or the Arctic quiet. Because when I went to Svalbard and I saw it, and we were on the snowmobile. So again, snowmobiling, all those adventure activities. And you go and you stop and you actually listen to silence. So it's quite really beautiful. And with those tall trees and everything, husky dog sledge rides, all of that can be done. So I would say the Arctic region can do all of that. Wellness and sauna, end the whole tiring holiday. If you're tired, if you're doing your adventure activities and you just want to relax, then you could be in Iceland in the Blue Lagoon, for example, or the other hot springs that are there. Or you can be in Finland, Norway, and experience the sauna. The sauna culture is really good here. Somewhere in Norway, like the Lofoten Islands, you can actually have a sauna and then come out at night, and these are all open till late night, and then jump into the ice cold ocean. So that is something stunning. In Copenhagen, you can have a floating sauna. So you can be on a boat which also has a sauna, which is also quite special. So yeah, there you have it, It's stunning.
You think we've mentioned about 100 experiences on this episode?
I guess so.
Probably not, but I think
50
I think
quite
at least,
a lot.
right? Yeah.
Enough for at least 6-7 holidays, if not more.
Awesome. So let's end it on this note. So listeners, how many of these experiences have you ticked off? We'd love to know. So write to us. You know my email address, Neil, Neil @veenaworld.com, and Sunila's is Sunila @veenaworld.com. Tell us what you have experienced, or tell us what we may have missed in all of these countries and regions of the world. So thank you for tuning in to this episode of Travel, Explore, Celebrate Life. Until next time, keep creating memories with your loved ones, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.